Story 1. They start acting like you. They may pick up unique words or phrases you use and seem to light up in your company. Story 2. The eyes, I really thought it was some bookish romantic thing, but it is real. The way they look at you like you mean the world to them but still won't accept. Story 3. Are we talking about simply platonic affection or romantic affection? Because if we are talking about crushes, there is no specific set of behaviors to determine whether someone is interested in you. I have met people who are usually social butterflies but start acting shy around their crushes. I have even met people who are usually silent but start acting chatty around their crushes. So I believe the only reliable way to determine if somebody likes you is by seeing a shift in their general behavior. Even then, it is not guaranteed, as it could mean they just feel more comfortable around you. Story 4. They will look more towards you in general. I did not notice that with my girlfriend before we got into a relationship because I was doing the same. Then I would see that she was looking at me, and I mistakenly thought she noticed me and considered me a creep or a pervert. They will try to be close to you, sit next to you in board games or at lunch, want to be on your team, and so on. Some do this very subtly. My current girlfriend did this, and I thought she was just lovely and friendly. I did not realize she had an actual crush on me. If you have a common friend, they might realize that the person who has a crush on you talks significantly more about you or things related to you. For example, if she is explaining something, she will use an example involving you, your hometown, something you exceptionally like, and so on. Story 5. They unexpectedly jab you with a needle and draw a decent-sized sample of your blood into a syringe, then squirt it into their mouth with a satisfied sigh. Story 6. There was a time when I was receiving anonymous messages on paper in my department mailbox. I checked my mail on a Monday afternoon, the first time there after a 3-day weekend. So, there was a period of about 4 days during which another message could have been placed in my mailbox. On my first day back, late in the day, as I approached the mailroom, a woman came into view, casually looked up at the ceiling, turned around, and ran directly into a wall. I found another note asking if I was available for a deep relationship, with instructions on how to reply. Eventually, I put 2 and 2 together and figured out the identity of my anonymous correspondent. Not immediately. I'm not that smart. Story 7. They copy your hobbies. I always liked reading Japanese comic books. He then asked for recommendations and read every single one of them. When I said Japanese comic books, I meant the boys love ones. Story 8. When something is funny and everyone is laughing, they will look at you. This is subtle but was learned from my psychology professor. Story 9. When I said, "You want to make out? I mean hang out," I collapsed against their bookshelf. I am a very subtle person. Story 10. Had this recently. Felt this energy when I was with them. They were always really sweet with me, and there was a crackle between us all the time, like I wanted to kiss them, and they wanted the same. They were always hugging me, but I was hugging everyone, so I thought it was all in my head. Then one night we were hanging out, and I got really excited and happy about something and kissed them. I then stepped back, shocked at myself, and they grabbed me and kissed me again. At that point, I realized they felt it too, and it wasn't just in my head. Story 11. When someone in your workplace who is guarded around everyone else jokes about how they made a mistake at work with you, it is a way to find a baseline. If that baseline is broken around you, it typically indicates interest. Story 12. For women, it is the body language. My husband said one of the first signs he had that I had a crush on him was how I played with my hair, swayed a bit whenever I stood talking to him, and my overall body language just seemed more playful. Story 13. What does it mean when the things everyone says here are the things I do to all of my friends unconsciously? Story 14. There are many signs to be honest, like body language, that certain smile they use only for you, the looks, the way they get excited, and their eyes light up around you. Most people cannot hide very well that they are having fun with someone they like. In my experience, they usually want your attention, behave differently around you, and choose to be closer to you in conversations. People have an acceptable social distance normally, and depending on how they feel about someone, it changes subconsciously. Other signs include laughing at your jokes, playing with their hair, shyness and awkwardness around you, blushing when they get attention from their crush, flirting, looking away quickly when you look over, and then looking back to check if you're still looking, to name but a few. It is often obvious to everyone around them too. When people really connect with each other, there is usually a certain something between them as well. Story 15. When you are in a conversation and making eye contact, but they keep breaking it every few seconds and look away as if they are shy. Story 16. If someone is talking to another person and you randomly join the conversation without speaking, just staring at them, you will notice that they start talking only to you and mainly maintain eye contact with you. Story 17. You notice they are around you often and naturally gravitate towards you in group settings. They puff out their chest when approaching you. They look at you with a certain gaze. They remember small details about you. They buy you a thoughtful gift. Story 18. Going out of their way to be in your presence, feeling their eyes on you all the time, but they can never look you directly in the face when you catch them. Addressing you when they see you and then disappearing for the day if they accidentally say good morning one too many times or watch you for too long. Listening to you and your conversations without saying anything, but subtly doing everything in their power to make life easier for you. Story 19. That new dress is very flattering on you. Happy to see you feeling better than yesterday. Would you like to get coffee? Story 20. Based on my experiences, some guys who liked me tend to avoid me. Literally. This one classmate of mine was an acquaintance, and I heard rumors that he liked me back then. Now it is awkward because that was a few years ago already, but I noticed that I have already talked to everyone else except him. We also tend to have eye contact a lot because I do like him too, but he is shy. Anyway, I'll bring this secret to my grave. I liked him because my best friend likes him too, so it is a girl code. Just to be clear, I liked him before knowing my friend's feelings, which turned out to be a long time ago, so I have no chance. Also, the whole class ships them, so I give up. Haha. Story 21. I do not know about other people, but if I like you, I will have the hardest time not being close and keeping my hands to myself. I have been told, with consent of course. Whether it is just our thighs touching when we sit next to each other, or anything else, I just want to get close. Story 22. When you follow a woman home in the middle of the night and she invites you in. I can't believe I missed that. She looked so puzzled when I left at 3 a.m. without making a move. Look, lady, I just wanted to make sure you got home safely. Also, I found your views on nuclear weapons quite disturbing. We shouldn't just use the missiles we have because it would be a waste of money not to. That's crazy talk. But then you did just invite in a guy who was following you, so I guess that fits. Story 23. Nothing is certain. I had a girl text me over 100 times every day, text me first thing every morning, say things like she could not wait to see me, and heart react every time I said she looked cute, just for her to be surprised that I liked her and she did not feel that way apparently. Story 24. When my girlfriend was crushing on me, I tried to make increasingly worse jokes to see the threshold where she would stop laughing. I never found it. She always laughed at whatever silly things I said. To clarify, worse jokes means just bad jokes, not going into offensive territory. Story 25. Laugh out loud. Reddit users are so desperate for companionship that they are always posting things like this in hopes of noticing missed signs or getting validation that their hopeless crush is secretly mutual. When someone likes you back, you can just tell. It is not that complicated. Story 26. In my case, I didn't think that he liked me, but everyone around me kept saying that he did. We don't see each other anymore. From what I can recall, he would keep teasing me just to see my reactions. He brought food for everyone but waited until I took the first bite and wouldn't move until I said it was good. He always wanted to tag along wherever I went. If I stayed back at work, he would wait for me, bring up my name in almost every conversation he had with other friends, and asked me to walk him home. Story 27. I tend to notice that if a girl likes me, when I say I do not like something in conversation not directed at her, she will immediately stop doing what I do not like if she was doing it. Story 28. Keep teasing you in a playful way and become very defensive as soon as you suggest that they may like you. Not a simple denial like, aha, keep dreaming, but a sweaty and panicky, no, 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 I don't like you, I don't like you, I don't like you. Story 29. The overwhelming feeling of realizing my romantic interest does none of these because I never get a chance to speak to her. Story 30. If they touch your arm frequently when laughing, tend to laugh excessively at your humor, or overly agree by saying things like, I know, I know, or exactly. It shows a little too much enthusiasm. Of course, this can be nice if you are single and want the attention, but it can be awkward if you are married or in a relationship, especially if the other person is seriously attractive. Story 31. If they are shy, they will get very nervous. They will avoid eye contact, be more fidgety, but for some reason always find a way to show up around you. Story 32. Their pupils will be slightly dilated. This can occur when they are intoxicated, but will be fully dilated when they are highly intoxicated. Story 33. Finding an excuse to hit or touch you. I was trying on clothes, and the girl working helped me pick a few things out. I held out my hand to take a pair of pants she had picked, and instead of giving me the pants, she put her hand in mine. It was adorable. I hope she was not too embarrassed. I took it as a huge compliment. Story 34. One obvious sign is that they would find excuses to be near you. For example, oh, you're going to the break room? Me too. I suddenly need ice. Story 35. They mirror your actions, not mock. They remember details about you and the things you like. They tease you mainly to see your reactions and express enthusiasm about it. They giggle on the floor when they meet your gaze at the beginning of your encounter of the day. They try to spend more time with you. They consciously or subconsciously place you at their center of attention. They often place you next to them mentally. They care deeply about you, asking, are you okay? Story 36. This was me in middle school doing this to my crush. Basically, when they look at you for a long time without you looking back. Another sign is if they turn red when you wink at them. For context, this happened to me, I turned red. Story 37. It depends on the disposition of the person. Some may try to communicate, spend time, imitate behaviors, or talk to their friends about you all the time. Others may fight a war inside their head with the idea that they are falling. Their world is about to be ruined, and there is no coming back. Meanwhile, the other person might have no idea. It totally depends on the individual, especially if the person is too comfortable in their world where outsiders have very limited access. Story 38. They remember unusual details you mentioned once, such as your favorite snack or how you dislike Tuesdays for no reason. Story 39. A few years ago, I was going to this school, and there was a boy who constantly bullied me. It was always about my looks, what I did, and my actions, like verbal bullying. For the first 2 years, we were close, a little bit of friends, but my other friend was closer with him. The three of us were close with each other, but the teasing, which I didn't like, the judging, and the bullying would always show up. In the summer, I would hang out with the bad kids. Most of them vaped and had big bikes, and they would talk badly about each other. I had no choice but to hang out with them because my friend was close to him, and he had lots of bad friends. They would constantly be at the grocery store buying energy drinks. It was like they owned the place. For context, I am 5 feet 10 inches and the boy is probably 5 feet 5 inches. He used to say, bro, what the heck? You are so tall. Bro, you are so giant. He also vapes. I have never tried it before, thankfully. At the end of year 2 of us being friends, school ended, and I went to summer vacation in America for 4 weeks to visit my family. When I came back, it was year 3 of us being friends, but something clicked. I didn't want to be friends with the boy and go out every day doing bad things, so I stopped going out. I changed myself, the way I talked, and sometimes I would also judge people. I really felt bad about what I did and stopped hanging out with them. Also, when I came back from America, we were seated next to each other. The first thing he said was, bro, what is wrong with you? Imagine going to America. What did you do there for 4 weeks? A few days after being seated next to each other, my friend came to me and told me he liked me. I didn't like him back. There were girls in my class who got bullied more often than me. One time, I got braces, which was nothing special, and he immediately went up to me and said, OMG, bro, you are so ugly. It looks ugly on you. A week later, a girl from my class also got braces, and he didn't say a word to her. I didn't care. Since then, I started ignoring him. If he said something to me, I wouldn't respond. The teasing got less, and sometimes he would talk to me like a normal friend. Story 40. They smell you. Right before they are passing by, they take a big deep whiff, but it is still subtle enough to go unnoticed if you are not paying attention. Story 41. I once was talking to a girl when she brought up the topic of what I look for in a relationship. Now, I was and still am not looking for one, but I just humorously entertained the idea. I gave her a simple definition as well as what I looked for. Then she asked, "What do you like in your partner?" I asked, "What aspect? Physical? Emotional?" She answered physical. I said I was into someone who was normal, not too big or too thin, just a healthy middle ground. Then she said, "How about insert description that suspiciously sounds like her physique?" I answered no, as it was not something I am attracted to. Story 42. A female colleague at work kept making a point of touching my back and accidentally brushing her rather ample chest against me. It became awkward, but the situation was never addressed. Story 43. If they keep finding excuses to be alone with you, or if they come to you first to start a conversation. Those were the big signs for me. Another sign was them using we instead of I. In other words, they want to do that with you. Story 44. If someone likes you, then you become part of the family. You will be relied upon to regularly save the day. You will be given the freedom to do your job in peace. Love is a different and more complex story. Story 45. I have observed that every situation is different, and it is important to learn to read each one uniquely. Recognizing when you have connected with someone is crucial. Being in a group setting often helps you compare your perceptions of another person's attitude with those of others. In various settings, do they give you more attention than others? Do they make a point to laugh at your jokes, validate your experience, or be appropriately vulnerable? Understanding their life context is also important. If they do all of this and say they are not ready to date, they are probably just looking for someone they feel safe around, not for a passionate romance. Context is essential. Subtle ways to engage include connecting on social media and gauging their response, approaching them appropriately in different situations, and observing their reactions. Paying attention to how you feel is somewhat important, but only if you are not self-absorbed, because then it does not really matter. Every situation is different. Getting involved in a community is very helpful. One where you get to know people and they get to know you. Social groups are interconnected. You build rapport this way, learn contexts and hierarchies, and can appropriately assess your status in that hierarchy. Story 46. When they always spend time with you, like random casual conversations even about small things such as eating breakfast together, asking for random favors, or remembering a specific thing that you like or hate. Story 47. Look at the way we girls talk to other men. If it just feels different with you, that means we like you or that you are a creep. Story 48. When they copy you in small ways, they often do not realize they are doing it. They may also start talking like you. When you say a new word in the conversation, they will repeat it as soon as possible, also to impress you. Story 49. Every time you speak to them, they say "hawk to a spit on that thing" and start grinding on you, even when you are at the mall food court. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.